So Ariana Grande basically introduced The Weeknd and Max Martin to each other. A year later, The Weeknd and Max Martin made Can't Feel My Face. This is their third collaboration together, and I feel like they should just make an album. Just please. Their voices and their styles just combine so well together. What's up, music lovers? Today we're gonna talk about what has become one of my favorite songs of this year, if not my favorite song of the year. In this series, we're diving into every single #1 hit that Max Martin has been a part of, either as songwriter, co-songwriter, producer, co-producer. Part 1, we talked about Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, and part 2, we talked about NSYNC's It's Gonna Be Me. And today, we're talking about Save Your Tears remix. We're definitely not going in chronological order because we skipped from 2000 all the way up to 2021, but I just could not wait 22 songs to talk about Save Your Tears. My name is Anvi, and I make videos about pop songs, so if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2, I'll leave them right here and in the description below. So of course, we can't talk about Save Your Tears remix without talking about Save Your Tears, the original version, because they are the same song. The only difference is, of course, Ariana's magical vocals. The song was written by The Hila, Ahmad Balshay, Ariana Grande, Abel Tesfaye aka The Weeknd, Oscar Holter, and of course Max Martin. And it was part of After Hours, The Weeknd's 4th album. It was produced by The Weeknd, Oscar Holter, and Max Martin. Together they produced a total of 5 songs on the After Hours album. In my opinion, the best album of 2020. It's an amazing album. I could not get enough of it. I listened to it so many times. I feel like it was even more impactful because it was 2020 and we were all in this state in which we needed comfort, and that album did that for us. So many good songs on this album: Heartless, Blinding Lights. I mean, where do I begin with Blinding Lights? I would have to make a whole separate video for that song, which is coming, by the way, because it's part of the #1 hits that Max Martin has been a part of, so stay tuned for that. In Your Eyes was another great song. It had the remix with Doja Cat. Blinding Lights had the remix with Rosalía, and now Save Your Tears has the remix with Ariana Grande, which from these 3 remixes, this is definitely my favorite. I love the fact that this was already a great song and it just added to it. It didn't turn it into a different song like a lot of remixes do, in which they change some things or they just completely switch it up. In this case, it was an already amazing song with some even more amazing vocals, just to put like the cherry on top of the ice cream. The original version peaked at #4, and then this song was released on April 22nd, 2021, and it peaked, of course, at #1. And it was both The Weeknd and Ariana Grande's 6th #1 single, and Max Martin's 24th #1 single. It's definitely the most pop-like song of the album, and it also has some 80s influences, which other songs of the album have. You hear the 80s influence throughout most of the After Hours album. In this song, you hear it a lot in the bass line, and if you speed up the song, you really hear the 80s influence.
I don't know why I run away. She's a maniac on the floor. I run away. And she's dancing like she's never danced before.
The video of the original version has a lot of symbolism in it. It has The Weeknd singing at what looks like to be an award show. Everyone is wearing a mask and looking very lifeless. But he's singing and he has this very over-the-top surgery-like botched face. He's dancing on the table, he's doing anything that he wants, grabbing the champagne bottle, drinking it, and no one complains. Everyone's just looking at him. Then he sees this girl who happens to look like Selena Gomez. He takes her to the stage, they dance, and they're having a great time until everything turns dark, like literally blackout. Then you see him taking out the gun that he was hiding behind his back, taking her hand, grabbing the gun, pointing it towards his forehead, and of course she starts to cry and she doesn't look amused at all, like who would be. Everything dims down again and then he's alone again. The symbolism behind all this is very interesting. This is the theme that The Weeknd goes with a lot in his songs. He talks a lot about toxic love and toxic relationships and how his relationships with drugs and with the girl are gonna kill him one day. In his song Faith, he even says he wants her to overdose next to him overdosing. He also talks a lot about having this empty life, and I feel like this video totally symbolizes that, having an empty life, everyone's watching him, he's putting on a show, he's pretending to be happy, but deep down you can see it, and you can see it in his eyes in the video. Even though he's smiling at the end, you can see in his eyes that he's not happy. The music video to the remix is an animation, and it kind of follows the same theme too, because in the first video he's a fabricated version of himself, and now he's fabricated his fantasy girl and she's a plastic doll. He creates his fantasy girl just like he wants her, but that fantasy he's chasing can only exist in a plastic futuristic doll. It's again the empty life he mentions in so many other songs. He runs with this theme that he's been running with since the beginning of this album, and I love that because it's like a movie basically. He's even wearing the same clothes the whole time, even when he performs live at the Super Bowl or when he was performing at the VMA. Right before this video, he had the bands over his head and nobody understood it until you see the Save Your Tears video, and then it all makes sense. The live performance of Save Your Tears remix at the iHeartRadio, oh my god, it was perfection. And not just because of Ariana's whistle note, I mean, it was just so beautiful, the whole thing, their voices together. Although I have to say, I've watched this whistle note section on loop an abnormal amount of times. I like the fact that Ariana sang a little bit different on this song than what we're used to hearing her sing like, because even though the note that she was singing was lower than what she's used to, it was also the fact that she sings in a certain way, like the vibrato at the end of each phrase is very different. If you're enjoying the video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, hitting that bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. This was the perfect way to close off that After Hours era. I love the fact that he stayed on this album for a year and a half, because Heartless was released on November 27th, 2019, and Save Your Tears was released on April 22nd, 2021. This is not usual for artists today. Most of the time they release an album, they put out a couple singles, maybe within 3 months, 6 months, and then it's over. Wait for a while, maybe another year until you get to hear another album. And the fact that he really let this album like sit for a while and just promoted it so much, that's how it should be, because it gives us this time to process the song, to fall in love with them. Because sometimes you hear a song once, you hear it a few times, and you don't immediately fall in love with them. I know for me, I had to listen to the songs a few times before I got into them, some of the songs on this album, but once I got into them, it was over. I was addicted. In the lyrics, he's talking about how she's almost getting over him. He runs into her at a party, at a club, or some kind of event. He sees that she's happy. She doesn't care about him. She's not thinking about him. She's not at home eating ice cream, watching Sex and the City. But he knows that in the moment that he starts wanting to get back with her, she's gonna cry again. And he's telling her, you know what, save your tears, let's enjoy our night together. But never once does he apologize. And he actually excuses himself by saying that somebody hurt him first and he hurt her because of it. He just wants to enjoy the night with her, pretend like nobody got hurt, and then maybe afterwards move on, because he doesn't really want to get back with her. He doesn't say he loves her or wants her back. He just says, save your tears for another day, meaning you can get back to crying over me, but just for tonight, just forget it. This is their third collaboration together, and I feel like they should just make an album. Just please. Their voices and their styles just combine so well together. Their collaborations, Love Me Harder, Off the Table, Save Your Tears, they all have 3 words, and this is the third collaboration. Is this a sign? What's your favorite one of these 3 collaborations? So their first collaboration, Love Me Harder, which came out in September 2014, was when Max Martin and The Weeknd met. So Ariana Grande basically introduced The Weeknd and Max Martin to each other. A year later, The Weeknd and Max Martin made Can't Feel My Face, another #1 that will come up in this series. In an interview with Variety, The Weeknd said, Ariana was kind of my foot in the door with Max, my chance to show him I can play this game, you know? But when we got into the room together, we didn't really connect as much. Then someone invited him to a show I did at the Hollywood Bowl, and he saw 15,000 people singing along, and I think he was like, okay, there's something I'm not getting. So we sat down again, and the first song we created was In the Night. Then he said, Max and I have become literally the best of friends, but I don't do that with many people. It's not that I can't, but a collaboration is a relationship. It's like a marriage. You've got to build up to do it. Let me know what you think about this song down in the comments below. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.